The sun barely touched the horizon when Ethan arrived at the simulation arena. The enormous dome shimmered with energy shields, holding the artificial asteroid field inside. Hundreds of cadets hovered nearby, their ships lined up, engines glowing. Today was the Inter-Academy simulation trial. The tension was thick in the air. Ethan checked his ship one last time. The modifications he had made, the reinforced thrusters, the fine-tuned shields, and the subtle navigation tweaks were all ready. He glanced at the small Earth emblem on his control panel, feeling a quiet surge of pride. Beside him, Zillaire's ship gleamed with alien technology far superior in raw speed and firepower. Zillaire smirked. "Human, you really think you can compete with us?" he asked. His voice was sharp, dripping with condescension. Ethan didn't reply. He only adjusted his controls and focused. Commander Varric appeared in a holoprojection. "Cadets, this is the final simulation. It will test your skill, creativity, and teamwork. Any team failing to demonstrate these qualities will fail the Academy. Begin when ready." The moment came. The arena lit up with asteroids, drones, and holographic hazards. Teams scattered, engines roaring. From the start, the alien cadets dominated. Their ships were faster, armed with energy blasters and automatic targeting systems. They moved in perfect formation, coordinating attacks as if they were a single organism. Ethan's heart pounded. He felt the pressure. This was what he had been preparing for. "Focus, Ethan," he whispered. "Think like a human, not like them." The first wave of drones came. Swarms of small, fast-moving attackers darted between asteroids, trying to overwhelm the cadets. Most alien teams fired in predictable bursts, blasting drones but leaving gaps. Ethan's human instincts kicked in. He didn't just fire blindly. He studied the swarm's pattern, predicting their path, then swooped in with precision. His thrusters hissed as he dodged an asteroid and simultaneously disabled 3 drones. Some alien cadets turned, surprised. Whispers traveled through the arena. "The human. He is fast, but not like us." Zillaire's narrowed his eyes. "They always survive the first wave. Wait until the real challenge." The simulation escalated. Holographic enemy fleets appeared. The asteroids moved faster, and energy barriers popped up randomly. Ethan's small ship was at a disadvantage. A single hit could disable him. And his shields were weaker than the elite alien cadets. But Ethan had something they did not: creativity and unpredictability. He guided his team into a narrow asteroid corridor, the aliens' largest ships behind them. Using precise maneuvers, he led the drones in a spiral pattern. When the alien cadets tried to follow, many crashed into asteroids or collided with each other. Chaos erupted among the larger ships. Ethan's team moved through unharmed. "Impossible," Zillaire's growled. "How? How is he doing this?" Ethan didn't answer. He only focused on the next challenge. A large energy barrier blocked their path. The alien teams hesitated, unsure how to breach it. Ethan noticed a small gap at the top. It was risky. Any mistake could crush the ship against the barrier, but it was the only chance to move forward. "Follow me," he commanded. "Stick close." The team braced. Ethan's ship accelerated, twisting upward in a sharp, daring climb. He narrowly passed the gap, the barrier almost grazing his hull. Behind him, his teammates followed, their ships shaking but successful. The other cadets stared in disbelief. Zillaire gritted his teeth. "No human has ever done that," he muttered. The simulation continued. The enemy fleet pressed harder. Ethan's team was outnumbered and outgunned. One of his teammates panicked and nearly fired at an asteroid instead of a drone. Ethan shouted commands, guiding them calmly, moving his ship to block mistakes. Slowly, his team learned to trust his instincts and follow his lead. By mid-simulation, Ethan had drawn attention. Some alien cadets whispered in awe, "He's smart. Different, but smart." Others still laughed quietly, unwilling to admit that Earth had produced a strategist worthy of notice. Then came the final wave. A massive holographic battleship appeared, its size dwarfing any other ship in the arena. It moved quickly, firing wide energy beams and unleashing hundreds of drones. The elite alien teams attacked head-on, trying to overwhelm it with raw power. Many failed, losing ships or getting trapped. Ethan studied the pattern carefully. He noticed that the battleship's firing sequences had a rhythm. Each wide beam left a brief moment of weakness. The drones moved in a predictable loop. Most cadets ignored the gaps, focusing on sheer firepower. Ethan smiled faintly. "This is it," he whispered. He guided his team into the battle. Using sharp turns, zigzag maneuvers, and precise timing, they avoided the wide energy beams. Ethan targeted the battleship's weak points. His team followed, trusting his commands. One by one, the elite alien cadets faltered, unable to keep up with the humans' unpredictable style. Some crashed, some retreated, some were forced into defensive positions. Ethan's small, Earth-built ship moved like a shadow. It's precise and deadly, without firing a single shot unnecessarily. Then he activated the final trick. A hidden modification he had built in secret. A small glow appeared on the Earth emblem on his arm interface, signaling a special navigation boost and shield optimization. The ship responded instantly, dodging an attack that would have destroyed it. The elite battleship's defenses faltered. Ethan's team fired coordinated shots at the right moments, exploiting weaknesses no one else had noticed. The holographic battleship exploded in a shower of sparks, signaling the end of the final wave. The arena fell silent. The simulation was over. Commander Viewership's holoface appeared. "Unbelievable," he said. "Cadet Ethan, your tactics, timing, and leadership have exceeded all expectations. You have not only survived, but you have outsmarted the elite cadets of this academy." Ziller's face turned red. He could barely speak. "I don't understand how." Ethan stepped out of his ship, calm and steady. He didn't gloat. He simply nodded at his team. "Good work." We stayed focused. Few cadets whispered in awe. "The human. He's extraordinary." Some shook their heads, still struggling to accept that a small human from Earth had outsmarted the Academy's top cadets. Ethan looked at the small Earth emblem glowing on his arm. It was subtle, yet it carried weight. It was a reminder that humans were not to be underestimated. He had fought not with brute force, but with ingenuity, strategy, and patience. And that was a strength the alien cadets could not match. Zillar turned away. His pride wounded, but his respect begrudgingly growing. Ethan had done the impossible. He had shown that humans, often dismissed as weak, could not only survive but excel in the galaxy's most challenging arenas. That night, in the dormitory, cadets talked in hushed tones about what had happened. Some praised Ethan quietly, while others simply stared at the glowing Earth emblem on his ship's display. Unable to ignore it, Ethan sat alone for a moment, opening his hollow notebook. He wrote down what he had learned today. Predict patterns, trust instincts, adapt quickly, and never let ridicule define your limits. His roommate Tycho peeked in. You actually did it," he said. Ethan smiled faintly. "We did it. And tomorrow, they will see even more." For the first time, Ethan felt a shift. The mockery of the academy was fading. Some cadets now looked at him with cautious respect, others with disbelief. The galaxy might still underestimate Earth, but that day had changed something. Humans could think differently, move differently, and fight differently. And those differences mattered. Ethan closed his notebook, gazing at the small Earth emblem glowing softly on his arm. Tomorrow's challenges would be harder. But he had learned a lesson today. Creativity and courage can overcome, strength in numbers, and in the quiet of the dormitory. As the stars shone beyond the academy walls, Ethan whispered, "They laughed at me today, but tomorrow they will see Earth." Princess Lyra walked slowly through the palace gardens. The air smelled of alien flowers, their colors brighter than anything humans had ever seen. The soft hum of energy fields blended with the distant sound of waterfalls. Yet despite the beauty around her, Lyra felt restless. Today was not an ordinary day. A human warrior had arrived on her planet. His name was Captain Jace, and his reputation stretched across star systems. Stories of his courage and skill had reached her through the royal archives. He had survived battles that many entire fleets could not. Many in the Galactic Kingdom were cautious of him. Some were afraid. But Lyra, she tried to remain calm. The princess's advisors had warned her. Humans are unpredictable, they said. Do not show weakness in his presence. But Lyra knew that appearances mattered little to someone like Jace. A human warrior did not rely on fear. He relied on understanding, on observing. And that thought both intrigued and unsettled her. She reached the central fountain, where crystal-clear water arced high before falling back into its basin. The fountain was shaped like a spiraling helix, glowing faintly from within. Here she was to meet him. Her guards stood behind her, expressions tense. Every muscle in their bodies was ready, yet Lyra herself tried to keep her composure. A shadow moved across the garden. Lyra's heart beat faster, though she would never admit it. Jace stepped into view. He was taller than most of her people, with broad shoulders and an easy confidence that seemed natural, not taught. His uniform was plain compared to her intricate robes, but it carried a weight of authority that demanded attention. He stopped a few paces from her, his dark eyes scanning the garden. Then he looked directly at her, and Lyra felt a curious mix of challenge and calm in his gaze. She straightened her posture, took a deep breath, and said, "Welcome to our planet, Captain Jace." He inclined his head respectfully. "Thank you, Princess Lyra. Your planet is impressive." His voice was deep but calm, and there was no trace of arrogance, only confidence. "I hope my presence does not cause trouble." Lyra's lips pressed into a thin line. She wanted to hide her curiosity. She had read about humans, but seeing one in person was different. He moved as if he belonged anywhere he stepped, yet every step seemed precise. She could not tell if he was measuring her, the palace, or both. "You are our guest," she replied. "I hope you find your stay comfortable." Jace glanced around the garden, noting the floating lights and delicate bridges spanning streams. Then he turned back to her, smiling faintly. "It is different from anything I have seen. Beautiful and dangerous in its own way." Lyra's heart skipped. She did not expect him to notice the danger of the garden. It was carefully designed with subtle traps for intruders. Yet he spoke as if he understood it instinctively. A small part of her feared him more now, but another part admired him. Her guard captain Vorel stepped forward. "Princess, may I introduce Captain Jace to the council chambers?" "The delegation awaits." Lyra shook her head. "Not yet. Let us speak first, alone." Her voice was calm, but inside, a storm of thoughts swirled. Vorel hesitated, then bowed. "As you wish, Princess," signaled the other guards to stay back. Lyra and Jace were alone in the garden now. She took a step closer, forcing herself to speak naturally. "I have read reports of your battles, Captain. Many say you are fearless." Jace's smile widened slightly. "I am cautious, Princess. Fear is useful. It teaches you to survive." Lyra felt a twinge of surprise. His words were not arrogant. They carried wisdom, and she realized that perhaps she had underestimated humans. "Survival. Yes, but also strength," she replied. She tried to keep her voice steady, but she could not hide her fascination. "Do you ever hesitate before a fight?" Jace's expression softened. "Sometimes, but hesitation is a tool, not a weakness. It helps you choose your action carefully." Lyra nodded, thinking of the countless strategies she had studied in the palace archives. Yet she realized none of them could prepare her for the presence of someone like Jace. His calm was not the same as her people's it. It was different. It was powerful and human. She looked at the fountain again, trying to shift her thoughts. "Our kingdom has faced threats before, but your people, humans, you face danger differently." Jace stepped closer, lowering his voice. "Humans adapt. We face what comes, and we learn. I have seen worlds fall and rise again. I have learned that courage is more than strength, is choice." Lyra blinked. His words struck her. She had spent years learning diplomacy, mastering poise, and hiding emotion. Yet here was a human who could speak plainly and still carry authority. she felt her carefully constructed calm begin to crack. "Your people are?" "Extraordinary," she said softly. She did not mean to sound uncertain, but her tone betrayed her. Jace noticed immediately. "And so are you, Princess," he replied. "I have read of your leadership. You face expectations that would crush many, yet you remain steady. That is rare." Lyra felt heat rise to her cheeks. No one had spoken to her like this before, not her advisors, not her teachers. She tried to remember herself, to maintain composure, but her heartbeat betrayed her curiosity and admiration. A sudden noise broke the moment. The guards outside reported the delegation was ready. Lyra sighed and turned back to Jace. "Very well. Shall we proceed?" He inclined his head. "Lead the way, Princess." As they walked through the palace corridors, Lyra observed him. Every step was measured, yet effortless. His eyes scanned constantly, taking in every detail. She realized he would notice anything amiss, no deception could pass unnoticed. And that thought made her even more aware of herself. At the council chamber, Lyra paused. She looked at Jace, trying to regain her full composure. "The council will want to speak with you about trade agreements, defense, and of course, diplomacy," he nodded. "I am ready, Princess. I trust your guidance." Her chest tightened slightly. Trust. She had not expected to hear a human speak these words, nor did she expect to feel the weight of responsibility for someone like him. She realized that the presence of this human warrior was unlike anything she had known. It demanded more than calmness. It demanded respect, understanding, and vigilance. The council chamber doors opened. Advisors and ministers turned to face her and the human warrior. Whispers traveled through the room as Jace stepped in. Eyes widened at his presence. He nodded politely to the council, acknowledging their authority. Yet there was no fear in him, only confidence. Lyra's mind raced. How could she remain calm here in front of both her council and this remarkable human? She took a deep breath and straightened her posture. "Members of the council, this is Captain Jace of the human Starfleet. He comes with respect and a willingness to cooperate with our kingdom." Jace bowed slightly to the council. "It is an honor to be here. I hope to strengthen ties between our peoples." Some ministers still whispered, uncertain of the human's intentions. Lyra's eyes met Jace's, and she saw a flicker of understanding in his gaze. He recognized her struggle to maintain calm under observation, and he respected it. For the first time, Lyra felt something new, curiosity mixed with admiration and a hint of challenge. She realized that the human warrior was not just a guest, nor merely a soldier. He was something different, an example of a people who faced life and danger in a way her kingdom had rarely encountered. As the council meeting began, Lyra maintained her composure outwardly, but inside her thoughts spun. She would need to learn more about this human. His presence unsettled her, yet she could not deny the strange excitement it brought. She wondered, for the first time, if humans could teach her something about courage, about trust, and about herself. The meeting progressed, with Jace answering questions clearly, calmly, and with intelligence. Lyra watched him closely, noting how he handled both praise and challenge. She realized that the legends did not exaggerate his abilities. The human warrior was as extraordinary as the stories said. When the council finally adjourned, Lyra walked beside him, back to the gardens. She felt her heart lighter, her mind more alert. She had tried to stay calm, but she had failed, and perhaps that failure was a gift. "You have a way of making even the most careful princess feel uncertain," she said quietly, almost teasing. Jace looked at her and smiled. "And you have a way of staying composed even when facing something unexpected." "That is rare," Lyra laughed softly. For the first time in a long while, she felt a mixture of relief and intrigue. She realized that the human warrior would not only challenge her externally, but also within herself. And she was curious, more curious than she had been in years. The sun began to set over the palace, casting golden light across the gardens. Lyra knew this was only the beginning. The human warrior had arrived, and nothing would be the same again. The morning air was crisp, carrying the scent of alien plants and the faint hum of energy shields. Princess Lyra walked along the palace training grounds, her hands clasped lightly in front of her. She had not slept well the night before, thinking of Captain Jace. His presence lingered in her mind like a shadow that refused to fade. The training grounds were vast, with floating platforms and holographic targets for practice. Soldiers from her kingdom trained here daily, but today, the focus was on the human warrior. Lyra had requested to observe him carefully, quietly. She needed to understand him better, even if she could not admit it aloud. Jace arrived with the ease of someone who belonged anywhere, yet he moved with the precision of a seasoned soldier. His uniform was simple, and his boots barely made a sound on the metallic floor. When he saw Lyra, he nodded respectfully. "Princess, ready to watch?" Lyra gave a small nod. "Yes. Show me what you do." He smiled faintly and began his demonstration. First, he moved through a series of holographic obstacles, dodging, leaping, and balancing with remarkable skill. Each motion was calculated but smooth, like a dance. Lyra's eyes widened. She had seen many warriors in her kingdom, but none moved like this. None combined strength and precision so effortlessly. Next, Jace took up a training weapon, a lightweight plasma staff. He engaged the targets, not with brute force, but with strategy. He anticipated the movement of each target, striking with exact timing. Lyra found herself holding her breath, marveling at the coordination. "You are precise," she said quietly, almost to herself. Jace glanced at her. "Precision comes from observation and patience. Strength alone is not enough. A warrior must understand timing, space, and strategy." Lyra nodded slowly, absorbing the lesson. She had always relied on knowledge and planning and diplomacy, but seeing it applied so fluidly in combat was new. This human warrior taught lessons not from books, from experience and instinct. After the demonstration, Jace lowered the staff and turned to her. "Would you like to try?" Lyra blinked. "Me, but I have never trained with weapons." "All the more reason," he said, smiling faintly. "You will learn quickly. Observation is your strength. Let it guide you." Hesitantly, Lyra took the staff. It felt heavier than she expected. Her first swing was clumsy, and a holographic target fizzled out, untouched. Jace observed silently, giving no advice at first. She tried again, more focused this time, and hit the target. Then another. Jace nodded approvingly. "Better. You are learning fast. Remember, the mind leads the body, not the other way around." Lyra felt a thrill of pride mixed with frustration. She wanted to impress him, yet she also felt the weight of being watched. Every motion was analyzed, every mistake noticed, and yet she felt safe under his gaze, even if her heart raced. Suddenly, an alarm sounded. The palace sensors had detected an attack on the outskirts of the city. Alien raiders, fast, aggressive, and unpredictable, were attempting a strike. Lyra's stomach tightened. This was real danger, not training. Jace's expression remained calm. "Stay close to me, princess. We will handle this together," Lyra nodded, her fear mingling with adrenaline. For the first time, she would witness the human warrior in true battle. Guards scrambled around them, preparing defenses. Lyra felt her pulse quicken, but she forced herself to breathe steadily. The raiders came from above, descending in sleek ships. They fired energy blasts toward the palace, and alarms blared across the training grounds. Lyra watched as Jace assessed the situation in moments, issuing orders to the guards with calm authority. He moved first. Swiftly, he leaped onto a raised platform, dodging a blast, and fired a precise shot that destroyed one of the raider ships. Lyra's breath caught. Every movement he made was deliberate, yet there was a natural flow that seemed effortless. How does he do that? She whispered to herself. Her guard Vorel kept her close. "Princess, stay behind cover. Watch and learn. Do not interfere yet." Lyra obeyed, though her curiosity and concern made her eyes follow every motion of Jace. He fought not recklessly, but strategically, moving to protect civilians and intercept raiders before they could breach the palace perimeter. His mind seemed to calculate probabilities, risks, and timing all at once. At one point, A raider ship broke through a shield and aimed directly at a civilian transport. Without hesitation, Jace jumped onto a hover platform and intercepted it, firing with precision that saved dozens of lives. Lysera's hands gripped the railing tightly. She had never felt such fear at once. When the last raider ship was destroyed or fled, the alarms silenced. Lysera's legs felt weak, though she tried to stand tall. Jace turned toward her, breathing steadily, calm, as if nothing had happened. "Are you all right, Princess?" he asked. She nodded, though her voice trembled slightly. "Yes. Yes, thanks to you. You are incredible." Jace shook his head. "No, incredible. We did what was necessary. Everyone can do it with courage and focus." Lysera considered his words. He was right. Courage and focus to qualities she had often relied on, but never seen combined like this in action. Humans, she realized, approached danger differently than her people. They faced it head-on, learning and adapting in ways that were almost unpredictable. "I need to understand this better," she admitted quietly. "Your people. Your way of facing danger? It is unlike anything I have seen." Jace smiled faintly. "It is different, yes. But difference is not weakness. It is perspective. Every species has strengths. Humans rely on choice, creativity, and resilience." Lysera absorbed this silently. The raiders had been repelled, yet the lesson was clear. Bravery was not just about strength or numbers, it was about thinking, adapting, and acting decisively. She realized she had underestimated humans in her studies. After the battle, Lysera insisted on walking with Jace through the city streets. Civilians looked at him with awe and curiosity, but also with trust. He had saved lives, and they recognized it. Lysera noticed how effortlessly he earned respect, not through status or title, but through action. "You are different from what I expected," she said. "And you are more curious than I expected," Jace replied lightly. "The princess, who tries to stay calm in every situation, has not stayed calm around me at all." Lysera blinked, a faint blush rising. Perhaps some truths cannot be hidden." They walked in silence for a moment, each considering the other. Lysera realized that Jace's presence challenged her in ways she had not anticipated. He forced her to think differently, to reconsider what courage and strength meant. "Will you teach me more?" she asked softly. Jace considered this, then nodded. "If you are willing to learn and to act, then yes. The lessons are not easy, but they are worth it." Lysera smiled faintly. She felt a mixture of excitement and apprehension. She knew that learning from a human warrior would be demanding. Yet she also knew that she would not want anyone else at her side in this process, as they returned to the palace. The sun set over the city, casting long shadows across the streets. Lysera felt her mind and heart racing. The human warrior had entered her life, and he had already changed her perspective. She realized that the struggle to stay calm was not just about him, it was about understanding herself and her own limits. That night, Lysera could not sleep. She reviewed the events of the day in her mind, the demonstration, the battle, the courage, and the strategy. Every image of Jace moved with precision, every decision made with careful thought. She understood, finally, why humans were both respected and feared across the galaxy, and she also understood something else. That the presence of Captain Jace did more than challenge her calm. It inspired her curiosity, her admiration, and perhaps the first stirrings of a bond that would grow stronger with time. Lysera lay awake, staring at the ceiling of her chamber. Tomorrow, she would continue her lessons with the human warrior. Tomorrow, she would learn more about courage, strategy, and herself. And she knew deep inside that her life and the kingdom would never be the same again. The human warrior had arrived, and the lessons had only just begun.